chant to pray with lamps burning bright. He comes to all others, a thief in the night. We know he is near, but know not the day. As spring shows that summer is not far away. Hold fast till I come, sweet promise of heaven, the kingdom restored to you shall be given. Come enter my joy, sit down on my throne, bright crowns are in waiting. Hold fast till I come.
There are several places here in Genesis chapter 12 that you'll see that when mention is made of the Passover, the Lord intended it to be for forever, just like he said of the Sabbath day, that it should be forever. Look in verse 14, where he says, "And this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and ye shall keep it a feast to the Lord throughout your generations. Ye shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever." Now, forever doesn't always mean forever. It could mean until the time, until it's fulfilled. However, in this setting, the same language that is used for the seventh-day Sabbath is used regarding the Passover Sabbath. It says it shall be a statute forever throughout your generations. Well, there are some people say, well, it should not, when it says your generations, it simply means the generations of the people of Israel, and not the peoples of the world. Exodus 12:14 says, "This day shall be unto you for a memorial, and ye shall keep it a feast to the Lord throughout your generations. Ye shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever." Now, as I've studied with various individuals, they said because it says throughout your generations, it meant until the time when Israel, or it was meant for Israel as a nation, throughout your or their generation. "Speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, Verily my Sabbaths ye shall keep, for it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that ye may know that I am the Lord that doth sanctify you." So here again he mentions the Sabbaths, and that it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations. Now, the Sabbaths being a sign between the Lord and his people throughout their generations. But since in AD 34, when they stoned Stephen, and Paul and Barnabas waxed bold and said it was necessary for the gospel to be preached to you, but now we turn to the Gentiles, because you judge yourselves unworthily, they believed that the period of the Sabbath and the law came to an end. But as we know, God's law is immutable. And verse 13 in particular says, "My Sabbath ye shall keep." It's a sign throughout your generation. The same language that we saw in Exodus 12 and verse 14. "Ye shall keep it a feast of the Lord throughout your generation." So if we cough at the Passover because it uses the term throughout your generations, then we might have to do the same for uniformity's sake regarding the Sabbath. Now we read further in Exodus 20 and 31 and now verse 14. "Ye shall keep the Sabbath therefore, for it is holy unto you. Every one that defileth it shall surely be put to death. For whosoever doth any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people. 6 days may work be done, but in the seventh is a Sabbath of rest, holy to the Lord. Whosoever doeth any work in the Sabbath day, he shall surely be put to death. Wherefore the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations, for a perpetual covenant. For it is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed." Now here he said repeatedly, the Sabbath is a sign between the Lord and the people of Israel. But that doesn't limit the Sabbath to just the Lord and Israel, because the Sabbath was made for man, and not man for the Sabbath. Similarly, the festivals were made for man, and not man for the festival. It was made for human beings. Now let's look and go back to Leviticus 23 and look on some more of the other mentions regarding the various festivals, and we try to identify them in New Testament times and look at some objections that are raised generally and how the Bible deals with them. So going back to Leviticus 23, we take verses 2 and 3 again. Speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them concerning the feasts of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feasts. 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest and holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings. Now here the Lord speaks of the seventh day Sabbath again and says it's the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings. Similarly, as he said in Exodus 31, it's the Sabbath, it's a sign between the Lord and Israel. But because Israel was his mouthpiece and his church at that time, why he made that narrow reference. But it was to be recognized throughout the dwellings of those who accepted Yahweh as the true and living God. Leviticus 23 and verse 21. Let's take verses 14 and 21 connectively. And ye shall eat neither bread nor parched corn nor green ears until the selfsame day that ye have brought an offering unto your God. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. Notice that the statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings is a continuous term used in referring to all the festivals. In this one, he's speaking of the Passover. Then he came down and talks about Pentecost. Pentecost are the Feast of Weeks, and he used the very same language. In verse 15, you'll see, ye shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that ye brought the sheaf of the wave offering, 7 Sabbaths shall be complete. Even unto the morrow after the 7th Sabbath shall ye number 50 days, and ye shall offer a new meat offering unto the Lord. Now the 50 days here, that's why Pentecost, Penta means 50, cost is to count. So it means in fullness, count 50. Count 50 days from this Passover Sabbath. Now in verse 21 it says, and ye shall proclaim on the selfsame day that it may be an holy convocation unto you. Ye shall do no servile work therein. It shall be a statute forever in all your dwellings throughout your generations. So whenever the Lord came to the closing of the ministration of these festivals, he said it's a memorial forever. And the Spirit of prophecy tells us that these festivals were not only commemorative, but they were typical. And we'll see what their commemoration and type pointed to in both the type and the prototype. Now again, we pick up this passage, or in the same chapter, we go to verse 31. We're now talking about the Day of Atonement. Or verse 27, it says, on the 10th day of the 7th month, there shall be a Day of Atonement. It shall be an holy convocation unto you, and ye shall afflict your souls and offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. So this Day of Atonement, then verse 31 says, ye shall do no manner of work in it. Ye shall do no manner of work. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. So again, we see the eternality of this, or the continuum, forever throughout your generations in all your dwellings. It shall be unto you a Sabbath of rest. Ye shall afflict your souls in the 9th of the month at even. From even unto even shall ye celebrate your Sabbath. Now as Seventh-day Adventists, we pick out this one verse in the middle of all these feast days in order to honor the Sabbath as we're doing this evening from sunset to sunset, but then we throw away everything else. It's like we go to Ezekiel chapter 4 and verse 6 to say that a day is for a year, and we throw away the rest of the chapter that dealt with the 430-year prophecy. So we don't want to do that. Now we go down to the last 2 verses, I believe it is in chapter 29. The Lord again shows that these festivals are a statute forever throughout your generations. In verse 41 it says, and ye shall keep it a feast unto the Lord, speaking of the tabernacles now, 7 days in the year. It shall be a statute forever in your generations. Ye shall celebrate it in the 7th month. So we looked at all the festivals, including the Sabbath day, which is the festival of festivals, and they all have as their end note a statute forever throughout your generations in all your dwelling places.
Follow our studies at Solemn Thought Ministries on YouTube to learn more.